If you've seen the trailer to part 2 of Bluey's season 2, you may have seen a glimpse of a duck cake. That's a cake from a famous Women's Weekly recipe book, going back about 30 or 40 years. It was every kid's dream to get a cake cooked for them out of that book when they were growing up. Today, we're going to have a crack at that duck cake. Here's what we're going to need. Some sort of cake mix, or a cake. Looks like there's a bit of popcorn in there, so I've got this pretty fancy popcorn. For the buttons, I've got these caramel M&Ms. Maybe a few skewers in case I need to like shape the cake and jam them in to make it all stick. That's also got icing in, so we'll whip up that to cover the cake as well. A cup of juice. That's just for refreshment as we make it. So to start off, preheat the oven to make the cake, and we'll zoom through this bit so that we can get to the fun bit of actually assembling the cake. Rightio, the cake is cooked and looking good. And while that was cooking, I just whipped up a bit of icing, which looks a little bit runny, but we'll see how that goes. So, let's get to assembling the cake. Before we do that, take a sip of the juice and a bite of the garlic bread. I mean, hey, the oven was on. So garlicky. That's been cooling for 5 minutes. Forgot to mention, I'm pretty sure the duck beak is made out of chips. So, I've got chips as well. Easily the best flavor of chips, but possibly the worst flavor of chips to put on a cake. But we'll see how that goes later. Alright, now we've got to roughly carve this thing into a duck shape. And I'll try and follow the instructions that Bandit has there and see how we go. Gosh, looks to be... What is happening there? Half, an edge. Okay, so we've got 4 rectangle pieces. So let's say I cut one here, one here. Is that gonna... Should be roughly right. We'll see how that goes. Now it looks like one of them has a corner cut off. Might as well do that, I suppose. I'm going to use a little bit of creative freedom here. I'm thinking that this piece and, man, why did I cut those in 2? I think I could have just carved it in 1 piece. Anyway. Let's say those 2 are meant to be together, and roughly, it's all very rough. Let's take off the edges. We'll use them, I'm sure, for something. And a bit more here. And we'll just copy that on the other side. Alright, that's the duck's belly and base, whatever we want to call it. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Try and assemble some sort of neck and head shape area. If I go like this, yeah, this looks like a duck. A bit, a little bit. Do ducks have tails? Yeah, they do. They have tail feathers. Maybe it seems to have a little rise like the back there. Maybe I can just use like... I'm gonna whack a couple of these in just to keep everything together. Because who doesn't like a cake with a couple of big wooden skewers through it? Trim those bits off. That's how we're looking at the moment. It's not awesome, but it's a roughly duck shape. Okay, I'm gonna just round up this head a little bit. I should probably mention, even the pictures of this duck I've seen made well actually looked pretty terrible. So I think we're on the right track. Good enough. I'm gonna drench this thing in icing now. Oh, stay ducky. Here's a hot tip for you. Maybe make the icing a tad thicker. Oh my gosh. All right, That icing just will not stay. Oh gosh. I'm going back with the skewer. Okay, let's put that in there. Taste test the icing. Tastes good. Rightio, we've come this far. Might as well try and add some popcorn and chips to this thing. Alright. That one's got a good bit of curl on it. Maybe I can wedge that in there. I don't even have room for M&Ms down the front of that. Let me wedge that in there somewhere. Just pop in. Oh, there's a button. I don't think I'm going to try a second button. We'll just be happy we've got one in there. Probably not worth getting the whole pack of M&Ms just for that. Now we've got to make a couple of eyes actually. A couple more orange ones for the eyes. Just kind of push them in there. Boy, they're big. Just put a bit of that back on top. I'm definitely going to ruin this bow. I feel like I'm strangling this duck. Let's just go there. Maybe next time I try this, I'll actually look up some instructions rather than just try and eyeball it from the instructions Bandit's working with there. It looks ridiculous. Ooh, look, it's a duck cake. He desperately wants some duck cake. All right. I've already been eating the cake, but I forgot one step. I forgot to put those unnecessary black rings around the eyes. So let's do that now. Okay. So the two hot tips we learned from today's video. Hot tip number 1, use thicker icing. Number 2, don't make the duck cake. Ah, duck cake. You want to try some of this duck cake?
Not really.